We're good, okay. All right, well, let me pull up one of these for the green. All right, so here's the overall for the green.
Do you want to just address the land
Yeah,
first?
let's do the land first.
Okay.
So Neil, yesterday I went through each one of these and wrote down the land values. So they range from 85,000, 125 to 145. And I think it's probably because of, the ones, like the ones back here are 85,000, the ones over here at the point are 145. But their argument was that the association owns the land. RJ, what, your idea was good, just,
Well, just to assign an across-the-board value, well, establish a value for the land, and then divide that amongst the 24 owners equally. And then to account for the views and the difference in the actual where the properties are located or the structures are located, we said to perhaps put that in some sort of functional depreciation and use that as a mechanism to adjust the values of each site accordingly. How does that sound reasonable?
what do you think, Neil?
Right, because I mean, the value isn't really on the land, it's on the home site, right?
Correct.
Right.
And then right, one of their, so that's how that was their proposal, was to,
To split
right,
the
they were
land-
saying that the land next door is X amount per acre. So they really wanted an extremely low value.
Well, I think they more so wanted it to be equal,
Even,
distributed
yeah.
amongst the 24.
Is there, if you looked at,
So is there a property of similar size on the water somewhere that we could get a baseline from, or?
Bob Braggs, how much acreage does he have? I don't think he doesn't have that much water frontage.
He's right.
I mean, the reason that theirs is so high is because they have 24 home sites on the property, right? So I think, like, because they also brought up the harbor and Sloop Point, but the harbor has, how many home sites does that have on it?
12, maybe 14.
12,
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
14,
So there's only 12 or 14 home sites, and they've got more acreage there.
And they've got a pool.
I think.
Yep.
Right.
So if you take all those home sites and then you take the acreage and you do the math, they're assessed way lower per acre than the green is, but it's, I think, because of the home site. And same thing with Sloop Point, that's probably only 10 but of course Sloop Point hardly has any land. So I would think that would be, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's not like they've changed the way that the assessments are done. Right, in 2019, this piece that was 145 was 135. And I think that this different home site value, just looking at the old values, is the way that it's been done for a long time. But whether that was correct or not, I guess that's kind of the question.
Then, of course, you throw in the factor of it being on Carter's Creek, so can't
Right.
really compare Sloop Point to
What's
that.
going on?
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong, are they? Okay. There's a lot of them that are valued at 145, huh?
Yeah, and then, the ones that are more interior are 85. And then you got, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 at 125.
So pretty much all those out at the point are 145.
Correct.
Or there's really nothing else other than the harbor, Cedar Point, the green.
And that's kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So I think we just have to determine what we think a fair price is per home site. And then I think RJ is right. We need to go in there with some depreciation number for the ones, like back here, David Darden's unit in Ramona, they're right here.
Mm-hmm.
They should not have the same as, the one right up here.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is what they've done, and that's how it's been done. It looks like going back to the 2013 assessment, so I would assume it was done that way. I think that's kind of potentially is it, to me, it makes sense the way that it's done, whether the numbers are exactly right or not. I think like we talked about, that the harbor were $100,000 across the board, weren't they? Every single one had a home site value of 100,000, I think.
I don't know.
By his notes, it says that it was equally shared amongst the 14 owners, assessed at 187,000. But I don't know if his notes were correct. This was in the letter from Bruce. Because he's got Sloop Point was
Oh,
at
yeah, there it is.
18 owners at 104,000 an acre.
Right.
So,
But I mean, it's not a per acre. Can you look at Sloop Point on the GIS? I'm curious.
You gotta, let's see. Address or tax map number?
Right. You'd think I would know some of those, but I can't think.
I can't think of what the address is considered. I don't know if it's called Sloop Point.
it's just, it's
Drive.
Maratica Road, isn't it? All the way at the end? What's it, no.
It's gonna be like tax map number 6 or 7. I think 5 is further down.
Radica Road. Oh. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I think Aaron and Penny Beaver was bought a place there. 562 Riverside Drive.
Yep, that'd be right.
There we go.
1218B.
Cool.
So $100,000.
Okay. Can you check the others to make sure they're the same? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They gave them all 100,000.
Well, but those are also in a straight line and all have the same views and all that
Yeah,
kind of
they
stuff,
do.
so I get where they're coming from,
Yep.
but to appease their request, I still think the best thing to do is to decide the land value and split it equally. Just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
If we need to adjust for the other stuff, do it in the home value.
So, I mean, I know there have been larger pieces on Carter's Creek that have sold 8 acres worth. I don't really remember 8 acres.
But nothing with 24 home sites on it.
No,
I mean,
but,
that's the.
no, but I think if we,
And there's got to be a home site value for each. individual house, so do you,
Well,
But
that's,
even though you don't own the land, the association owns the land. So should the homeowner be paying more for land they don't own?
No, I don't think.
Because the dues are all split by 24 homeowners.
yeah.
They're not more for if you own a point property or less if you're off the water.
But when you go to
But-
sell or buy the place, you pay or sell it for more or less depending on where, I mean, it's still your unit. But, so then that's the question, what do you value the land at? Because then that would put their, yeah, all right, so, but what do you value a piece of land that you can put 24 home sites on? My guess is you'd have a real hard time getting that approved today. I think that the value of that land is a lot more than 8 acres on Carter's Creek that you can build one house on. So I think you'd have a hard, don't think you'd be able to put 24 home sites on a
No,
piece of land.
I think
anymore.
value-wise, you're right, but from a tax basis, paying taxes, should we be forcing the owners
does,
to pay taxes on an 8-acre, 24 home site property, or what is their 2,200 square foot property sit on, and they don't own that?
Right.
so does the association get taxed?
No.
So they're paying it anyway. So let's just decide what we want the value of that property to be. And when we split it, put that as your home site value,
And then adjust.
and then adjust the improvement side. Again, with, I mean, I guess, to me, it's not economic because you're in a prestigious development. There's nothing economically depressed about that area.
Right.
Use it on the functional side because it is a functional issue with the way the property's laid out. And I don't know, that we can figure the percentages when we get to that point, but just use that home site as the value we're discussing for this land, right? Times 24, and that's our total, whatever we think that 8 acres in your capacity that you're saying, because it is different than,
Let's see.
because otherwise, if it was 8 acres, what, you'd have a home site and then residual? That's how it would be? If it was a normal property that hadn't been developed for a subdivision?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like Neil, I mean, that's gonna be a way different value than,
I mean, they're here because they're worried
That
about their taxes
particular property.
going up. It's been assessed the same way for a long time, and there wasn't a complaint about it back in 2013. I
do.
would
Well,
assume it
none
was
of them
assessed the
own
same
it.
way.
Yeah, I know, but do they,
So, but basically, the,
their house sits on the same amount of land,
they
each
said
house?
they have 4 different floor plans. And I
Oh.
don't know if the square footage varies on those or not.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know, but that's all they actually own, right?
Here, he says, we request the assessed land value to be the same value per acre as the adjacent or nearby residential property, and the value be distributed equally with other condominiums.
I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, because there's 24 home sites. I mean, what are the home sites for neighboring properties? My guess would be that they're a lot more, which they should be.
Well, let's just say hypothetically, if we said every home site there was $115,000, that'd put the total at 2.760 for the land.
Well, he came up with 3.146, the way he did it, right? That's on this thing, that, the bottom of this thing that. there's,
Oh, yeah.
In red.
Yep.
That can't be right. He's saying the assessed land value is arbitrary with 22 different values? That's not what we saw, right? Or was it?
He's probably looking at maybe the percentage changes.
I don't know. Where's that come from?
The green assessed land value is arbitrary with 22 different values.
Y'all didn't see 22, did you? I mean,
No, a lot of them are the same.
yeah. Assessed land value.
I mean, it's a lot like where people have talked about, oh, well, my land's only half an acre, and it's assessed close to this land that's over here, that's an acre, and it's because the home site value is this really big part of that, which will come up with Julian's property.
I'm only seeing 8 different values of land assessments.
The difference land assessments is only 3.
Oh, is it 3?
It's
Okay, I was
85,000, 125, and 145.
Okay, I was looking at his chart.
Yeah, he may have added some different stuff in there, but that was the home site value itself.
Okay. Huh.
And then he's got a bunch of different improvement numbers in there, so.
I just don't know how we could come up with a value. Knowing the fact that there's no way you could get 20-some home sites out of an 8-acre parcel now because of all setbacks and regulations and this, that, and the other, so.
I mean, I guess that's the big, I mean, with Sloop Point and the harbor, you technically own the land underneath of your
Right.
your site.
Yeah.
But you still own the foundation. I mean, you still have a better home site at the green than somebody else does. But I guess that's, and then, so how many acres is Sloop Point if you click on, so Sloop Point, the association also gets taxed? If you click on that, does it?
It's 19 acres.
I mean, you've got
That's-
all that off
That's only
water.
191.
Wow, I didn't realize it owned all the way back. That's crazy.
But
Yeah,
you probably don't have a home site on there
Does that include?
because all the home sites are the individual
Is
pieces.
is that exclusive of the condos though, or how does
Yeah.
that?
Yep, so the condos are separate.
But as low as that is down there, I'd seriously doubt you'd ever be able to build very much on that back portion, if at all.
I think a lot of it's marsh, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've just
Yep.
given common area at 10,000. That's all the community owns.
Okay.
And of course, most of that is not waterfront and kind of unusable.
Right.
So I mean, he said that, set the land value of the green at 365 per acre.
David, you said 115 times 24, right? Is that what you did, 115?
Yeah.
That was 2.76?
2.76.
Do you think that's
Well, I was just looking at
in the realm of,
85,000, 125, 145, and trying to figure out,
well,
midpoint there.
but just like the 2.76 as a total, do you think that's in the realm of that 8 acres on Carter's Creek for what it is?
Let's see, 24 homes and, let's say, 400,000 homes. I mean, 24 homes at 400,000 homes, 9.6 million. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's, because you gotta figure, if it was just the dirt, they gotta also run all the lines to the water, sewer, roads. So it's a lot of infrastructure in there too.
So 2.76 is on the low side then?
Probably. What do y'all think? Well, maybe not for just the land, because then you gotta, the improvements, then you gotta go in and run all the infrastructure
Right.
for the roads and everything. So that's probably not $1 million for that.
But that would be on the improvement side.
Well,
It'd be,
Well, isn't that kind of
I guess it'd be part of the land side.
like if they had a dock, they would all share it?
And see, that's another different piece here, because there's 4 different LLCs or associations that own the piers. So,
What about like bulkhead? Do they have riprap, all that stuff?
some do, yeah.
So all that's owned by the association as well?
We're gonna have to go back and look at each one of them, I think, and see, I don't know how they're taxing those.
So for that, ignoring the home site value thing for a minute, on that piece, we need to go through at each individual property and look at any improvement that's on there. If it's a bulkhead and add all of that up or remove it, because he said there's no bulkhead, and then divide all that by 24, then on each one, put some sort of number that just says community improvements. Because somebody had a shed on their property, that's an association shed. So that's kind of a pain in the butt, but seems relatively, I guess community pier can stay on there.
somebody's gotta pay for the community pier though. I mean,
It's each individual association,
so they're taking the brunt of that.
and they've got, the peer association for each cluster of like 6. I think it is, it's 4 associations of the 6 peers. And in that, it says that if anything needs to be fixed, you'll divide between 6 people and this and that.
Okay.
But I don't know how they've got it taxed in here.
Looks like everybody's got $1,000 for a community pier.
'Cause he's talking about the bulkhead, which there's no bulkhead, but he's saying that they should be distributed equally for the riprap. I
Who
guess
said
is
new,
what he's saying.
who, it said no bulkhead in here?
Yeah, he's saying no bulkhead. Bruce is,
Oh, we would recommend the bulkhead be deleted.
yeah. I know there's riprap, but
I think there's some bulkhead in there too,
probably is on that one side.
on the
Yeah.
backside.
Yep.
It may not be right down by the water, but it may be a little bit
Further
higher up.
Like a retaining wall instead?
Yeah. My guess is that the value there is not gonna be,
Let's see.
so far I've not seen.
Here's the bulkhead. Okay. Yeah, because on the field notes, he does write riprap instead of bulkhead.
just looking at this first one for the
What about,
grades.
as I said, the cottages, they're the same situation, right? In that those are considered sort of a condo style development. Do they own the land? Is there anything else that people don't own the land underneath of them? Do you have a one something interest in the cottages?
I don't know.
For some reason,
That's not waterfront either, though.
But,
Some of
but
them
still,
are.
and is it the same thing with, is there anything else where you own High Bank?
Do they?
I don't know if you own the land underneath High Bank or not. That would be
I
interesting
think
to
you
look
do,
at.
don't
do.
you? I think you do.
Yeah, you do there.
Waterfront, and I know we got a green area, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the cottages, you got the lake, but,
But still, you've got some that are on the lake and not on the lake.
Right,
I don't know if
right.
that
right.
would kind of give,
But all these here have a pier, have a slip.
yep. Like, I wonder if the cottages, if that's the same, are they assigning a home site value to each thing, or are they coming up with? I mean, to me, the idea of just coming up with one land value for the entire thing and dividing it equally, that's not how they did it at the harbor or Sloop Point either. So if there was I guess it's just such a unique piece of property, but if there was anything else where you only owned a share, I would imagine Heatherfields, you own the land underneath of it. I don't think that's a.
No, I don't believe so.
No, is that a? I would think there, all the home sites would be the same, but I would think that each one would have a home site value still.
Right.
So if all the other condominium style,
Oh, they do own, 0.19. Yeah, High Banks, they do own the land.
but probably if you looked at the land, because each one is so small, the only value would be the home site.
That's the same with these. These are, you don't, only thing you own is your building.
Are there different home site values for these? I think if you look on the other side of High Banks Road.
That's 85,000 for waterfront. 85,000. 85,000. 85.
And then the ones off are 57.
They got great water views. They're 80,
Wow.
57.5,
I don't know why that one would be 80. That seems like a
That is
mistake.
kind of crazy. isn't it?
57.5, 57.5.
Yeah, because you're directly behind the other buildings. That is kind of bizarre. Huh.
That one should definitely be 57.5.
Yeah. Huh.
So they try to do something similar there. So it's not like every other development like this. So Sloop Point and the harbor, all the values are the same. But now we've got High Banks where they did assign different values. It seems like the difference between the ones on the water and the ones behind are kind of low. But they did give different values.
So are we
So,
back
so
to?
based on these, should we be dropping the green significantly? Because High Bank is near half of what,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's not fair and equitable. If we're 165 or 145 on some of these at the green, and these are
80.
85,000 for waterfront Rappahannock River with sand beach and big views.
Or you would bring those up.
Bring high banks up?
But I guess the assessments look pretty darn close to what the past couple sold for, right?
What about Westview?
Northumberland.
Which one?
Is it West Bay, sorry.
That's Northumberland, yeah.
Or do they own their land? And I know their values range from when you wrap around.
I don't think that we have enough comps. I mean, we're gonna have to look at this project as individual, okay? What do we think up here as a board is fair for setting a value?
Right.
I think, comparing to Sloop Point, it's different. The harbor's different. Obviously, High Bank is considerably lower, so.
You've also got
What do we feel is fair?
What about the condos in Windmill? The ones on the beach?
Beach Cove Villas?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some similar, Beach Cove Villas.
He just said Beach
just
Cove
said-
Villas like 1
Beach
second.
Cove Villas, they don't own the property underneath their structure. High Banks, they do.
Right, and with
All
the-
these are 110,000.
And the cottages, I think we did say they were all the same, and we think that they shouldn't be. So but I don't think, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that the land underneath High Banks is less than the land underneath of of these,
These are 110.
or the home site anyway. I mean, High Banks was a tough sale for a while. Some of it just has to do with the way that it was done beforehand, and they carried it.
That almost raised their assessments.
Whose?
These. With the green.
Raise them?
Yeah, the land values.
What you say?
To what?
There's part of me that would say, Carter's Creek, primo. Especially with some of those points.
So do you want to keep them staggered?
I think we either do, like how RJ said, throw a factor in there. Make everything across the board, then, throw a factor in. Or stagger them like I don't see any other way around it. You can't. There's no way you can.
Even if
give-
we don't use the functional depreciation, some of the factors on these are actually different too.
Are they?
Can't you say, like, okay, your ones out on the tip where had the best views would be 125 factor, perhaps the ones in the back are 110 factor. It's still an appealing property in a whole, but
Yeah.
there's varying levels, and then you don't have to actually add a depreciation at all. But we still have to have that equal land value, right?
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we have to
Right, right.
agree with it.
I mean, I think it's all different ways of doing it. You could assign them all the same land value and then give a different factor to each one. And then if we.
Well,
if we-
essentially, each unit, each structure should get a factor. So the two within that unit would be the same factor-wise, right?
Right.
In theory, they
Well,
should
it
be.
depends. I mean, if you got structured two different units, this
Well-
unit could be totally updated and granite countertops and everything, and this unit could be still original.
I'm sorry, well, I'm thinking about it as, like, as far as the view.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The only thing I see immediately right here, like, 27B, 43X, and 3W.
Yep,
I think 3X obviously has probably got a better view than 3W, the way that looks.
Right.
So then perhaps that factor should not be the same within the same structure.
right.
Yeah, there are some little nuances in there,
Yeah,
even with the
it's
ones that are
tough.
attached, where the one that's over here on the right-hand side just happens to have a big oak tree or something kind of in the way, where the one over here, when you're standing in the kitchen,
Right.
you've actually got a little alleyway. So
Yeah,
it's,
and that's,
it's just a hard one.
yeah.
Yeah, but like Q and D, they look same to me. You're looking across the creek.
Yeah,
Right here?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 3P
Well,
and 3R.
these two, these two, these two, these two, these two, the only ones, this unit, these units, these units, these units,
The interior one.
and,
Yeah.
and these units are, their
Yeah.
views aren't as good, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
And that's probably why the assessor gave them 85,000 value.
no, yeah, I agree. That makes
So,
sense.
so
But
do we agree with the assessor and keep the values staggered? Or do y'all want to just go in and make all the land values the same, then we'll adjust them on the factor part?
so we've seen at Windmill Point that clearly different home sites are being assigned the same value when they all own the land
Right.
underneath. Did we change
Well,
the ones that came in? They were the very far back. Did we decide to change their value, or did we just change the?
No, we kept them the same.
factor? We kept them the same and just
Yeah.
changed, because we've talked about that, oh, this seems kind of weird, but we'll do what the,
I can certainly see as, you know, them wanting a 120, their 124th stake to be as equal as the next 124th stake. And
yeah, I mean, to me, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, how you get the different value.
Just how
I
we
could
wanna
see
show
putting
it.
it into the home site, because it's not the acreage that's getting the value, it's the home site that's getting the value. If we did that, do we think that the assessments, then the question it becomes, how do you adjust the factor? And do we think the assessments are relatively close, or, right, they're also saying that they think that the assessments are too high, right?
Yep.
So they want all the units to have the same value on the land or on the home site. But then they also,
He's given on that sheet on the right-hand side, the actual sales numbers for each unit. So 310, 280,
19, 20.
352, 477, 351, 450.
but none of it's,
And all these assessed values are way north of the recent sales numbers in there.
well, yeah, but all of them, I mean, none of them are recent from a appraisal standpoint. So that's also another hard thing. What do you do with these?
Most of them have been private sales. I don't remember the last one that hit the MLS.
Right, the latest one is 2020, right?
Yeah, September 2020.
And you've got the one out at the end, 635.
Yeah.
and so- But they had done a ton of work to
Yeah.
that, and probably, maybe the square footage and stuff
Yeah.
wasn't updated. So that one's probably too low.
All right, what do you guys think? Let's make a decision. Do we want to keep the numbers staggered? Do we want to keep them all the same, make them the same and then adjust them on factor?
I'll agree with the majority. Y'all out there in the field. What do you say?
I mean, we're not, I understand their arguments, but we're not doing this to pacify
Right,
the association.
right.
Okay.
We're supposed to be looking at this so it's equal. So in that regard, I'm leaning towards changing the factor, making them all the same and changing the factor.
Make one value for the home site
And just,
and use the factor to distinguish
yeah,
the preferences.
yeah.
Perfect.
I like that.
I like that.
Neil?
That'll work.
All right.
So then
Now,
the question is,
now,
No more questions.
The
what
value.
needs to be that land value?
All right, so we range from what, 80?
85, 125, with the bulk of them being 145 because they're the point lots. So do we want to stay with 145 on the high end and then on the factor reduce the other ones
Yeah.
because there aren't as many for the,
It's easier to bring
Interior?
them down versus bringing them up. We can't adjust up, so I say we,
because it looks like we're only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, we're going to have quite a few of them.
I think if we take some of those that are 85 and bump them all the way up to 145, then all of a sudden the factor is probably gonna have to be, I guess, are all their factors over 100?
All the ones I looked at were, I haven't seen one yet, but I'm not gonna say it in. I haven't looked at all of them.
There's 10 properties that are 85 or 125, so it's almost half.
okay.
And so you've got 110 at Windmill Point, you've got 85 at
High bank.
High Bank, you've got
100
100
Sloop.
at Harbor. You just
Yeah.
make them all 100
And then adjust factors.
and then adjust the,
Okay with that?
That's
The
the easiest way to
factors.
do it, I think,
All right.
yeah.
now that's not gonna get to their point of thinking that the land is overvalued, but I think that
No, I'm
their,
with
their,
you.
their point there kind of misses the point that they're not taking the value of the land and dividing it, they're putting a value on each home site, and that's the only value that the land is getting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so at 2.4 million, I don't know, did somebody pay 2.4 million for 8 acres if they knew they could
Get 24 home
develop that
sites.
into,
Yeah.
I would think so, right?
Oh,
at this
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so now we'll start at the first one.
Yep.
Probably 3, we'll just go through each. All right, so Gray, Robert Ruth Gray. So we're changing home site from 85,000 to 100.
Which one is,
So I'm trying to find.
3C, 3C. No, is that right?
mine's cut off.
It's 27B43,
3,
Right there.
right here.
okay.
All right, so they've got a factor of 116, depreciation of 24.
Do we need to try and figure out what the 4 floor plans are as we go through this? Now, some people have done additions, and some people, their basements are different. I think that there's more than, yeah. I
I don't think we can, I think we've got to rely on, his notes here, he's got renovations for 2023, added a half bath, but unless we went out and did a walk around all 24 units, I don't think there's any way we can do that.
Yeah, okay, agreed.
So factor already came down from 125 to 116. Depreciation went up 4.
So 507, 500 total for one of those back there. I mean, it's really, it's hard because we don't have any comps from 2021, 2022, 2023. Is there anything?
Well, actually, Diane Hoffman, he bought this from her.
Yeah,
That's been some time. That was 322. No, they paid 352 when they bought it. That was right at COVID.
That was right at COVID when people didn't know. I mean, the value's certainly gone up since then. And if they've done a renovation in 2023, I certainly think we should adjust the factor down to try to make up for raising their home site value. I don't think that their assessment should,
We want to go factor 100 and then functional depreciation 5%
I would just do it on the
factor?
factor.
All right, how about 100 for factor?
Yep.
So then we're gonna say we're gonna give all the ones back
All of these back here,
a factor of 100.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
and then, yeah. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that'll end up lowering theirs by about $60,000 or so, roughly.
Yep.
Which, again, it's a shot in the dark because we don't know what the value is in there, really. But 500 does seem a little bit
Steep.
steep for one of the ones that doesn't have. Obviously, we've got a 635 out on the end, but that's a completely.
All right, so everybody agreement there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All right, 27B43. Home site changing from 85,000 to 100,000. And taking the factor down from 116 to 100.
It's almost like 100, and
Home site's 100, yep.
back to 100.
And factor to 100, right.
So we're just gonna kind of say we don't care about the fact that identical units have different values, because, I mean, they do. I mean, some of them have been
Yeah.
updated, some of
Right.
them
Yeah.
Yeah.
haven't been. I think if anybody wants to come in and say, hey, my property's in terrible condition compared to my neighbors that was assessed here,
Yeah.
then they can come in and,
Well, they
And talk to
could have
us.
come in before this and talked to us too.
yep, or maybe, but, right, the individual people could still come in,
Yeah.
right, Crystal? If they,
I send a letter to anyone who did not ask for a, did not ask for an appeal, which y'all have changed, it's only a handful so far, but then in my letter, I say you can appeal this. So
And-
they have a right to appeal, that's what they did now.
and just, should we, maybe instead of 100, should we do 105? So then if somebody wants to come in and say, my unit isn't as updated as this person's, then we've got some room to come down on it, or if we can go to 95 if somebody comes in and
I think we
gives us a
keep it
sob
100.
story.
Let's just keep it
Okay.
simple.
Yep, nice round numbers. Okay.
All right, so next one, 27B43C. Obviously, we're going to take that home site. Now, this is the one, it's right here on the point. So nice big views. Factor stayed the same from last one. The physical depreciation went up 11. Let's see.
that's Elizabeth McClary.
Yes.
So from 100 in the back, are you thinking for the ones that had the absolute best view, would they be a 125?
For land value? Home
No,
site
for
value?
for
Oh,
factor.
factor.
Are we gonna go higher than 125 for the best views, or do you think that's where that's gonna fall? And then we're working in between that for this one, like, would you consider the view on the one we're looking at now as good as 3K and 3E?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the question is here, factor, do we want to leave this 125? Now, we are adjusting the land value down 45,000. So maybe we just do the land and keep the factor the way it was?
For the ones that have the good views.
Because they got 11% more depreciation, which this house is 50 years old. And it don't see any, they added a deck for 2010, but,
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So just adjust.
so it's just that
upside
one
down.
change of the land.
And then the field note about the riprap, are we not addressing that, the
Oh,
bulkhead and the
yeah.
riprap?
We gotta do that on all of them. That's
Yeah,
the change
well,
in
that's,
all of
the
them.
first one I don't think had
Yeah, I've not seen any improvements.
There
It's just-
wasn't one on the first.
So far, just community pier, okay, so, is everybody in agreement, we're just gonna change the land on this one, that's it?
Yep.
Okay. Crystal, 27B43C. We're just changing the home site from 145,000 to 100,000. All right, 27B43D. That's gonna be right up here. All right, so. I think the same thing here. Age is about the same, leave the factor at 125. We take the land down from 145 to 100.
Are we just trusting him on the physical depreciation? I don't know why that one's,
No, this one does have the bulkhead on it.
3D does?
Yeah,
Where is it?
on the field sheet it did, I'm sorry. No,
Okay.
it didn't. But he might have done that on all of these.
I think he took the bulkhead off,
Yeah, it
yeah.
looks like he did.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking, Neil, on this one? Go to the same physical as the last one, the same age?
I mean, clearly if a house has been updated, you know, we're not seeing the physical depreciation being a definitive number based on the age of the home, right? It seems like,
I feel like without having pictures and stuff, don't we have to go with his judgment on that?
Yeah,
Just leave it what it is?
that's what I would say.
yeah, because I don't know why it'd be.
And then if the
they can come
taxpayer
in
wants
and
to come
argue
back
that
with
they're-
pictures and prove that.
Then
Yeah.
we just address it again.
Because
Okay.
it looks like the only thing they've ever done was back in 2000, they did siding, and that was it. That they got a permit for.
That they got a permit for, yeah.
All right, so we okay with just changing the land value here?
Yep.
All right. 2743D. We're just changing the home site value from 145 to 100,000. All right, 27B43E. This should be right here.
So this 145 as well.
So we're going to 100,000 land, 125 factor, yep, and 33 depreciation,
Same thing.
same
Just
thing.
Change the home site.
Yep.
and-
Right good there?
Yeah.
Yep.
27B43E,
Okay.
just changing the home site value from 145 to 100,000. All right, now we're going 27B43F.
Who assigned the
I don't know, man. They
the
were-
letters to these things?
They were all over the.
All over the place, yeah,
They're having a good time, throwing darts at a board.
yeah. Same thing here.
Yes, sir.
Just the land, this factor's already 125, depreciation's already 1.
So we're the point lot there, right?
Yeah,
F.
right here.
That one further back that came in at 507, surprised that some of these are gonna be lowered down closer to 4, which seems kinda low. I guess this one that was 507 at the basement, the physical depreciation wasn't as high. But you just gotta, okay, I guess that's why it wound up being so high. Oh, this
Yep.
one was only 1,500 square feet.
All right, so everybody good with just changing the land value here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 27B43F, land value from 145 to 100,000. All right, 3G, right beside this property. Same thing.
All right, so this was the one that sold that was in great condition and.
Which one is this?
this
They
was
did the whole upstairs in
Yeah.
2017.
the-
Yeah, but they've got
3G.
the square footage, the 3,000 square feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this was assessed at 681 too, but it's got the whole second floor.
Yeah, because it's so much bigger than anything else.
Yep. So everybody good,
Right.
just land value change here too?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I didn't get to go in this one. I wonder why the depreciation would have gone.
We sold this one.
Was it, they wouldn't let me go in because of COVID. but
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I wonder, if you want to mess with the depreciation at all since you knew it?
I don't think I'd say don't mess with any of the, well, I guess since you knew it.
I think we just change the home site value and
Okay.
let it, because that way we're being consistent with everything else.
Okay, all right.
All right, 27B43G, land, home site value from 145 to 100. Now we're going to 3H. All right, 3H is another waterfront, so 100.
Home side.
Same thing here, just home site. 25 and 31 seems to be the numbers for the depreciation, so. Everybody good there?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
27B43H, home site from 145 to 100,000. All right, 3I. This is gonna be another one. Yep, 3I's will be the same thing. Everybody okay there?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
27B43I, home site from 145 to 100,000. All right, 3J.
J's be the same thing.
Over there to your left. Go down one.
Yep,
Yep.
same thing for this one. Everybody good on that land change? Okay. 27B43J, home site from 145 to 100,000. Three K, next door. Same thing. Everybody good there?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
27B43K, home site from 145 to 100,000. Three L, This is waterfront.
Same
Two.
thing.
Same thing here.
The physical depreciation don't change, changes constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A little bit for each one, but the
Yeah.
factors have all been the same, so.
okay.
All right, so 27B43L, home site from 145 to 100,000. All right, 3M, that's up top, that's waterfront 2. Same thing here.
Yep.
27B43M, home site from 145 to 100,000. All right, 3N. This is right, as soon as you come in, this is one of those,
We did 100 on the factor.
yeah, we're gonna raise the home site from 85 to 100, but then we're gonna take the
Back to 100
factor
on the
down
factor.
to 100. Everybody in agreement with that one for
Yep.
Darden?
Yeah.
Okay. 27B43N, home site from 85,000 up to 100,000. And we're changing the factor from 116 to 100. All right, 3O, which is directly next door to this past one. Same thing with this one, 100, we're landing 100
Yep.
factor.
Yep.
Okay. 27B430, home site from 85,000 to 100,000. And factor from 116 to 100. All right, 3P. We're going back up to the waterfront again now. So land at 100 and keep factor and depreciation. Everybody good there?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, 27B43P. Just changing the home site from 145 to 100,000. And 3Q.
That last name.
Yeah. You gotta be changed about last
There you
name.
go.
3Q up here on the waterfront.
He's laughing at it.
All right. Only change here is the land.
That one gets a 39% physical depreciation. I don't know. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of people from the green in the future, but,
That's all right.
yep. They can come in.
At least everything is fair and equitable on the
Yep.
land and factors. I mean, we,
Yeah.
Yep.
27B43Q, just changing the home site from 145 to 100,000. And we're going to 3R.
Even more exciting in here than normal, isn't it, Glenn?
Pinch yourself, stay awake.
Right there with P.
Right there, 3R, right beside this one. All right, so just the land again on this one. 27B43R, just changing the home site from 145 to 100,000. Three S, that's an interior one. So increase in land value to 100 and then factor to 100. We good?
Yes, sir.
Looks good.
27B43S, home site increase from 85,000 to 100,000. And changing the factor from 125 to 100. All right, 3T is right next door. Same thing here, 100 for land and then factor down to 100. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 27B43T, home site from 85 to 100,000. And factor from 116 to 100. All right, 3U, just to the left, it's interior.
And he's who came in the other day. Did he have anything specific, or he didn't really have anything specific about his property, right? He was just,
With Bruce or the other one?
Yeah, the 3T, the one, I included his letter.
yep. I think it was-
So, home site down and then factor. What, Mr. Blau, didn't he say that he had this shed for the community on his property?
Okay, the DC generator, well, I think
But
the
I,
generator.
but I
would be-
looked at it,
Yeah,
and I don't see it on his new tax card.
yep.
That's what I've been looking for. I don't see it on that.
Yeah, I think that must have been removed. All right, so for 3U, everybody good on the two changes, 100,000 for the land and 100 for the factor?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
27B43U, home site down from 125 to 100,000. And factor from 125 to 100. All right, 3V is right next door to this one. Same thing with this one. (27B43V), home site from 125 to 100,000, and factor from 125 to 100. All right, 3W. Back up here. So land 100, factor 100,
Yes, sir.
all good?
Yep.
27B 4 3W, home site from 125 to 100,000. Factor from 125 to 100. And X is going to be the same thing right next door. (27B 4 3X), home site from 125 to 100,000. Factor from 125 to 100. All right, 3Y is right here. And 27B 4 3Y, home site increase from 85 to 100,000. And factor decrease from 116 to 100. And that concludes the green. Anybody need to take a little break or anything?
I'm probably gonna slip out for a sec.
Go ahead, buddy. Our next appointment doesn't come in till, oh, they don't today.
Unless you invited someone special.
No, I didn't invite anybody special today. Told everybody we had our hands full with going through properties today, but. Good job, team. I think that was a great way to do that one.
Yeah. I just-
Because we could have gone back with the way the assessor did it, but hopefully going forward now, they'll keep it that way.
Right. I can't remember, last time we did do ones in there, but I don't really remember what it was about, though.
There must have been something about the individual units.
I guess, I swear I remember doing stuff in there, but.
Which ones are we doing first?
Might as well go, we'll start with his personal home, 33,281.
Okay.
It's in order with the workbook here.
All right.
right, 33, 281 and 282.
Oh, yeah. Where are you talking about the home site?
You don't want to do 282 first?
Yeah, that's the bacon.
The big one,
Okay, yeah.
right? Where's your house? All right, so let's see. So one of the complaints is the improvements value jumped up, say 20%. And the land value is different for the two lots side by side.
On a per acre basis, which is,
Yeah, so
Not
whatever
how.
reason he gave the, One was
So the main
597.
house, he's got a home site at 425.
right,
The lot beside it, he's got a home site at 475.
yeah. And he's rated them, one's C 599, one's C 597.
Right.
Why would that be?
Why would 81 have economic depreciation on it? I didn't have a note
12% economic
unless I
depreciation.
missed something.
Where we go, 281?
We're looking at both of them.
what order does yours go in? Might be kind of mixed up. I've got all the King Carter ones.
It's
here
towards,
behind.
it's towards the back, Neil.
What's that? The personal ones are towards the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of would be, since there are no notes in here, is that it's such a big, huge house.
Right next to it?
Well, 281 is 9,000 square feet versus all the other houses along there, quite that big. I don't know, I'm only guessing. I can't, there's not like there's a marina next door, there's nothing, it's the only thing I can think of.
So those small 5,000 and 6,000 square feet homes would take away from the
Well,
Big
yeah.
10.
I don't
That,
know.
well, it makes sense. I just not having any notes. Kind of an outlier.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew, but
Yeah.
it's just a shot in the dark.
That makes sense, though. So what do we just make them both the same for home site value wise anyway?
I mean, they're both gonna have the same view.
They do, yeah, side by side, literally.
So the smaller one has the lower value, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess that was his way of trying to, again, going back to what he said about his little map having some sort of
Yeah.
algorithm that assigned a home site value based off of different factors. What are the other home sites around? That's always hard. Is 282A closer to? 525 for less than an acre. And I think what he would like to see is the 425 cut down to half of what the neighboring one is, because it's only half the size, but it went up 25,000 from the last assessment. Right, everything else right there is more expensive, right?
Yeah.
That is hard. I mean, it almost seems like there should be a home site value for a quarter of an acre, and then a really high value for your next half acre or
1 acre
3/4 of an
site.
acre, and then it should be residual. But I don't, it seems like that 1 acre thing is pretty standard. I don't feel like, I guess I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the home site value and assessments when I'm looking in other counties. But, it does seem like that's a pretty standardized way of doing it. If we wanted to start making that kind of adjustment, we'd have to do the entire county, I think. Somebody pay $425 for a buildable lot there in Irvington, even if it was only half an acre? Guess it would kind of depend on,
Somebody just paid $840 for a half acre 2 doors down from me.
don't I know that?
It seems like they should be the same for the home site. But,
It seems like they should all be the same right there, but they're
Yeah.
not. I assume that's got to have something to do with the way that the assessor
right,
had his fancy little map
yeah,
algorithm thing. And that was a weird thing. I mean, it does seem sometimes you get this thing where as you go down towards the point, it gets more expensive. Sometimes that makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, because
Right.
they're all right there. I'm kind of willing to go with I don't think we need to kind of go with the assessor that 425 seemed reasonable for some reason
on the smaller one.
on the smaller one. I mean, if anything, I think you would raise it to
Yeah.
match the other ones.
Right,
And potentially his home site at 475 seems, everything else seemed like it was
In
500 or
line.
above, right?
yeah. All right, so, keeping the land the same, so let's look at 281 on, factor went from 170 to 175. Physical depreciation went up from 5 to 18. Doesn't look like any renovations since 2019. The price per square foot went from 78 to 171.
Yeah. That's the big one.
Good, average for class and condition, that stayed the same.
Been pretty consistently going back to the old factor for people.
Yeah.
You just see so few properties assessed at close to 3 million. It's hard to know
I know.
what that market is. There's some
Yeah,
things
but you
selling.
think of Westbrook's old house and that sold for
Yeah.
whatever,
2.9?
yeah.
I would think it wouldn't be terribly far off unless there's something so strange about it because of personal taste or something like that, but you can't tell that from an assessment. I think going back on the factor to 170 is
Okay.
something that we've
Yeah.
been consistent
Is
about.
everybody agreement there for
Yes, sir.
33,281? Okay. So Crystal, 33,281, we're changing the factor from 175 to 170. And then next door on 33,282, looks like the factor went up 5 again. Depreciation went from 4 to 10. 16-year-old home.
So does he just use that as a guest house, or is it a completely separate
I don't know.
property?
I've driven by there by mistake. I thought it was a garage, but maybe it was a house. I don't know.
Looks like a three-bedroom, 2.5 bath house.
They went up on the physical, so taking the factor back is something we can do. In his note, is there something that says finished 75% in the field data sheet?
Basement,
So-
75%
okay,
finished
okay.
basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and they made that, okay, made that change.
So if we take the factor back to 160, physical depreciation 10. Does that sound right for a 16-year-old home, or should that be 15%?
What was his other one?
I think either or, it's a little, I mean, that number is very subjective, but we've definitely boosted that for,
Let's see
Well,
why you
people- I
couldn't
did
do
go-
15.
did
15.
go up from the last one,
Yeah.
10 or 15. There's no kind of specific guidance why it should be one more than the other.
All right, so for that one, we're just going to make the two changes going to be a factor in depreciation.
Yeah.
Okay. 33,282, Crystal. Factor from 165 to 160. And physical depreciation from 10 to 15%. All right.
Compass. Ay, ay, ay.
My only thought on Compass, I was thinking about it this morning and talking actually to Lisa about what we were doing today. And really all you can do is go look at, like, what are the other big commercial buildings and properties around? Is that what we need to look to make sure that it's kind of being assessed equally to Walmart?
Hospital.
Or hospital, or
Yeah,
the Food Lion subdivision? Like, what is that stuff
probably so.
being done for per square foot? Because, I mean, that'd be the only thing that's remotely similar, is if you just kind of treat it as a big commercial property.
Right.
Because the property assessment doesn't have anything to do with the type of business that's there, or whether or not it's generating revenue or losing money. It's just about the land that it sits on and the improvements that are on it.
Let's hold off on Compass.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go, let's go through these lots.
Okay.
I think most of these King Carter Holdings, IC Enterprises mostly were having to deal with land values.
All right.
So 33, 49.
what we do in King Carter Holdings.
Yes.
All right.
So 33,429, just first lot right here on the screen. Here's the vineyard. This is the office bistro. This is Dandelion. Here's the church. So just kind of, most of these properties are right along here and right along here.
All right, so this has that old house. Hang on, I didn't realize you brought it in 17.
All right, so see the screen here where the cursor is?
Yep.
75,000. Home site.
Yep.
Next door, parcel 430. Home site 92,500. The office is a little bit different. It's 225,000 for the land. It's commercial.
30, I wonder, is 30 zoned R1?
This one, I think it's oh, this one?
Yeah.
Residential, I believe.
Click on your, over there to the right, yeah.
That's all town
Oh,
zoning.
shoot, that's
Yeah.
right. Darn it.
430. I'm sorry, 435 right here, A. This is Dandelion, 185. And then going north from the subject property, this parcel's 80,000. This parcel's 57,500, 57,500, 57,500. So they're all over the board.
Does it matter if there's a, I guess it should matter if there's a building on it or not.
I'm just talking just land value.
Land value, yeah.
Yeah. See, literally, here's the lot right next door. Got a little bit more frontage, I mean, similar size lot. And it's 92,500. This is 75,000. This is 80,000.
And that discrepancy was somewhat there previously, right? 429, 430, so even back in the last assessment, it was assessed at 70,000 and 86,000 for some reason.
What is, what's 420 across the street?
Right here?
Yeah. My lord.
125.
What about
Here.
421?
I've written, wrote all of them on there.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. I think he's thrown at the dartboard again.
Yeah, and these lots here, I think they were 57,500.
Right?
I kind of see those, but then literally 1, 2, 3, these are all vastly different. It just doesn't make any sense.
No. Yeah, and I mean, at one time, 430 had a house on it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could think of on 429, is there anything about the narrowness of the lot that restricts you? I wouldn't think the assessor would have the ability to kind of,
I mean, the house is set way back there where the numbers are, but this really doesn't make any sense.
it was that way in the old assessment. It was a different, so I don't know if that's just something where he just kind of messed with the numbers a little bit, but it makes
No,
sense
he
to me.
didn't, he didn't get out
Just
the
make them all
car.
80,000 right there. Make them all 90,000. Make them all. Right, those ones that are 100 kind of seem to make sense.
Where's the gas station and compared to this, you know, on,
Down below.
Right down the street,
oh, okay,
right here on the corner.
yeah, okay.
There's King Carter Drive. Here's the post office. This is Rumsey and Bug's office right here. So it's just up the street.
Going towards Whitestone.
Towards Irvington, towards Kilmarnock.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
if you're coming here this way, it's going towards
Oh,
Whitestone,
okay.
right. The Methodist church is right here. Irvington Baptist church is right here.
Mhm.
So between 29 and 30, you got $75,000 on 29 and a 92.5 on 30.
Yeah.
Should we try to equalize those to be 80?
Right, there's a couple of other ones
Then you
right there
got
that are
Northern
80,
Neck
right?
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah.
So 80 seems like a reasonably
For,
equalized
for,
number.
for those two parcels. All right, so we'll take the land on that one from 75 to 80. Now, let's look at the, house. That's where things shot up too. They went from a factor of 85 to 91 depreciation. They kept the same. But gave
And
it
that was when they
economic.
said nobody's lived in it.
Is that the one that Bo had for a bit, or?
That's next door. Or,
That was
Two
Mr.
doors down.
Yeah, Mr. Wood's property. Yep.
this one, it really doesn't look like anybody's lived there for a long time.
It's the one that's set back
Yeah,
from the road
Yep.
a bit. I think Tom Coy used to live there.
yep.
So we take the
Remember going to that house.
factor back to 85
80.
and up the physical depreciation
I would say, yeah.
from 25 to what, 40, 45? Nobody's living there?
1927 house, daggone. Yeah, that's fine with me.
You go 40?
Yeah, I don't see why.
40's fine
40?
with me.
All right, everybody good on those three changes?
Yes, sir.
Neil, you good?
Yep.
All right, 33, 429. Home site changing from 75,000 to 80,000. And factor from 91 to 85. And physical depreciation from 25 to 40. All right, now we're going right next door to 33, 430. So we're gonna change that home site to 80. Oh, this is the vacant lots, that's it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's where the house used to be.
All right, 33, 430. Just changing the home site from 92,500 to 80,000. All right, 431. This is the office bistro restaurant on the corner. There really was not much change on this one, was it? If you look at the old. Improvements went up a little bit, but. So this is commercial. It did. And I don't, was,
Is this the first one?
yeah, they
we've
got a
seen?
negative. The building change, nothing in land, so.
Is that a first?
Was there anything in their, cover letter for this parcel specifically?
I don't see anything on this letter, no.
Well, and I tell you, from a value standpoint, could you sell that for 490? Yeah, all day long, I think.
Yep. Yep.
So, I don't see where there's any change necessary. Do you all? This parcel, Neil?
No, sir.
All right, Crystal, 33, 431, no change. 33, 433.
This one's the same too.
It's a little sliver right behind the office.
It looks like it didn't change.
No change there either?
No, sir.
Yeah.
All right, 33, 433, no change. It's probably gonna be the same with this one. This is right behind that one.
No change. It's all the same
Same thing, okay.
from 18 here.
33, 434, no change. All right, now we are going to cross the street. I believe. $28J113. This is the house in Irvington Farms where I believe the chef was renting.
Yeah.
So it's all by itself.
So the land value did not change at all.
Well, this isn't the old card.
What's that?
I don't have the old card.
No, we don't.
No, we sure don't, do we? Crystal, can we get the 2019 tax card? Yes, please.
Are all those parcels, somebody snatched up all those parcels? Bought all of them.
I heard he
28,
did.
113.
I thought that he did, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea, that was my assumption when,
And I mean, I saw them transfer.
Yeah, look, King
That's
Carter
not-
Holdings.
But this
Okay.
is
Yeah.
this
what
isn't
he's
the
got.
19.
Oh, okay.
She's getting us the old card.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a great place to build, I would think.
Subdivision.
If you were building houses there, that there'd be a market for it.
Yeah,
Especially if you could golf cart or ride right into town.
yeah.
So they would just need to put some sort of, I think technically you're not supposed to golf cart
Past.
that section. I
Yeah.
think people do it out from Glebe and stuff, just by staying on the side of the road, but,
Yeah.
They certainly do bicycles down there, that's for sure.
yeah.
Are we getting another Mexican restaurant in Whitestone?
It's
What
supposed
happened? I thought I
supposed to be
heard-
going in, Sarah Grace's property,
The one right there.
where the, pharmacy was.
Yeah. I heard that a clothing store was going in there at one time.
That's Sarah Grace, she owns,
The one
Low
over-
Tide in
Yeah.
Urbana.
I wonder why she didn't put the clothing store there. I wish she had, I like that store.
GC, land at 54. And just that improvement value.
What was factoring depreciation on that old one?
110
Uh-huh.
and,
10, no depreciation,
No
because it was
depreciation.
relatively new, right?
yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you sell a 2,500 square foot house just outside of Irvington for 450,000? There's a couple of properties close by there that sold, right, that are kind of right on the main road. Cherry Grove had that one where the garage kind of goes back. And
Yeah.
of course, that one with all the land is kind of its own little animal. I don't know if what that one sold for plays into it at all.
lower the factor back to 110.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everybody good with that, just lower the factor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
66% increase does seem pretty
Hefty.
hefty for the house sitting out there all on its own, but I'm not sure.
Well, again, it's probably because the price per square foot went
Yeah,
up.
that's
Yeah.
exactly-
Double.
Yep.
I mean, all the,
Yeah, 69, from 69 to 141.
Yeah.
I feel like, I guess maybe with other properties, because they're older, the physical depreciation has gone up more. It just seems. But I mean, the numbers are what the numbers are. Garage, 15,000. Right, all of that's been depreciated. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem too far off, I think, if it's a nice, especially if it's a
Custom
Right.
home.
nice house out there. Which I would,
All right, so we're just gonna redo the factor.
Yep.
All right, 28J 113, change the factor from 113 to 100. And, I'm sorry, 110. Yes, 110. All right, let's see what we got now. Three, 13, 8. 23A 1381A. So this is just,
This went up $1,500.
What is this? I'm trying to figure out where the heck we are. Claybrook?
Main Street, Claybrook, I think this, in this, Mary,
No,
No.
that's the coffee house. 4 is the coffee house.
yeah, it's ABC store, okay, yep. So this is weekends, coffee shop,
Coffee shop.
and then,
A little,
Some
yeah,
little,
yeah,
offices.
yeah. So 1A is like way back there. I wonder what the heck they're on there. That they demolished. Huh. Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm fine leaving it at 7,500. I don't know if that's worth anything. I guess maybe to a neighbor. Is it just sort of part of the whole complex in a way? It's not
So,
really big enough to do anything with.
I think he picked these up because the main, the sewer line for these buildings here comes in right here. There's a tap right here. So I think Julian bought those to give access over here. I know he did, because there's a power pole right here, and we had to cut in a new clean out right here for all these buildings. So these really are just access, you can't do anything with them, they're landlocked, so 7,500 back, the old value on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
23A 1381A. Land from 9,000 to 7,500. 7,500, yep. And then the next one in here is 3.
So that one's weekends.
Weekends, right. Price per square foot didn't go up that much, went from 125 to 130. But he also depreciated from 20 to 30%.
I'd imagine he's probably fine with that one, but maybe not as excited about the 41 and 37%. I guess he's got it highlighted. I mean, that's,
We could take the factor back down to 125.
I mean, it looks to me like the main building didn't get adjusted that much. That number 2 dwelling, that went up a good $20,000.
Yeah.
So that's the looks of it.
Where is the factor on this one?
It's in the, see price, the square foot, and then see, 130, then depreciation 30. It's in the additions part of the news card. Your structural value.
Right, 23A 1383, right?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. That's not, that's given like a price per square foot, right? Because it's commercial. Given what some of the other commercial properties have done, this doesn't seem too,
You want to keep it where it is?
Yeah.
Neil?
I guess, right, so the depreciation, right, went from
Depreciation went from 20 to
20 to
30%.
30. You know, unless we're looking at other commercial properties in Kilmarnock to kind of see how it compares. I don't know if you could sell that for 525, 600 or not. Those commercial ones are always, right, Chris Stam's office still hasn't sold, right? Last time I looked and that was listed in the fives.
Yeah.
Um, Does he own another building close by there, just to see if that went up to 130 as
So-
well? What are the,
All right, so right here, next door, the land value on this parcel is $8 a square foot, the one we're looking at. The one next door is, 3A is $9 a square foot, I'm sorry, $9,000. Parcel next door is $7 a square foot, and coffee shop $7 a square foot for the land.
Huh.
So if anything, we could take his rate on his land down to be consistent with his two adjoining parcels.
Sounds fair and equitable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say, yeah, let's do that.
that's only fair. And then I think leave the building the way it is.
I think so.
yeah, because the coffee, I guess that's the coffee shop is 3B. That's also done at 130 a square foot. So it seems like that's at least a consistent.
Yeah. All right, Crystal,
Number.
23A 1383. We're just changing the rate on the land from $8 a square foot to $7 a square foot. All right, 3A.
Let's just make sure I understand that's what I did. Change the land value from $8 to $7.
Yes. 3A, they've just given it a blanket value of $9,000.
Say we do 75, just like that other one.
I agree,
back
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right, Crystal, 23A, 1383A. Land value from $9,000 to $7,500. All right, going back to the Main Street So land value is already $7 a square, that's right. Let's see, 130 a square foot, that's consistent with the other building.
There does seem potentially, so I guess on commercial property, he didn't do any sort of, as the square footage goes up, that price per square foot goes down, which from an equalization standpoint, I don't know what we would do about that, but I would think you would do something kind of similar. It'd be interesting to see if a 5,000 square foot commercial property was done at the same rate. I don't think there's anything we can do about it. Three B went up 9%. Depreciation 12, 2007 building.
They don't have this highlighted on their sheet. I don't know if that was, maybe they're okay with that one.
Right.
Yep.
No change on this one?
No, I don't see
Okay.
anything.
23A, 13.8, 3B, no change. And now we're going to lot 4, which is the front porch coffee. Now, this one, they do have 41% increase. All right, let's see, so land is good at the 7 square foot.
Is it zoned differently? I wonder why they're doing it more like a, it says occupancy dwelling.
I mean, it was a house,
Yeah.
but so was where Weekends was. That was a house, so I don't know. That is interesting.
And then, so then because of that, it's got a factor and
Huh,
all of this stuff.
good
Where I
point.
don't know why it wouldn't be
Right.
done the same way. I don't know if that's a Marlon Beth question, if we can change the, I think typically the answer is yes, we can do whatever we would like to.
I think we need to ask them, Neil. That's a good point. I mean, because the other ones are commercial right there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have the ability to?
You got some coffee house?
Yeah, yep.
It's also nice to see them at least once a day, you know?
Yeah,
I'd hate to come in
absolutely.
here and
That's
finish up early and not have a chance to bother them with something.
Let them get some exercise.
See, look, right here, it says Zone C1.
Yeah, I would think that that's
Yeah.
all zoned
The
commercial right
cards
there.
say C1.
So if that's the case, then we ought to be able to go back to the other one at 130 a square foot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And there shouldn't be a factor on it,
right.
and then the depreciation, I don't know,
Look
probably
at
make it
that. It's hitting it with everything. Functional, physical, economic.
economic, yeah.
Yeah, everything's still added.
Let's just, here you go, mixed bag.
And you know, he's even got on the card zoning C1,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, the physical, functional, and economic were on the last one too. That's weird.
that is weird,
I mean,
isn't it?
need to simplify that one.
You know what we
But
can
then why have
look at?
the factor at 125 if the,
Let's look at the one further up where the guy does the fingernails.
Oh. Lee nails, or,
No, this one, 11, is it 36? No, hold on, we're at the coffee house. It'd be
Right here?
one down, further down.
right here.
Yep. 33E.
Hey, Beth.
hey, Beth, how you doing today?
The front porch coffee, zone C1, but the tax card's got it all filled out as if it's a residential property.
Yeah.
So,
Can we change it?
how, can we just change it ourselves?
Sure. I mean, you can, it's zoned commercial, so there's no reason not to.
Make it
Treat it
consistent with the other ones.
Exactly.
And weekends is done
Is weekends done
differently.
differently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then most definitely, I think you can.
What would the
Okay.
order be to Crystal for you all to do that? Do you want to, can we just say,
I need to look at the manual.
do you want to look at, so
Because
here's,
there's codes for,
it is zone C1, so this is how they're doing the coffee shop, where you've got a factor and it's got, you know, kind of the rating, whereas the, whereas weekends, it just has
He
like
was
a
not
rate
C1.
for each of the square footage, depending on what it is, the depreciation, so that it's like the tax cards look completely different.
all right, I'll be back in a minute. I have
Okay.
To see these codes on here, this BO3 that's on the, on weekends, I need to see what that's for. If it's for a retail business or exactly what that is, because we want to be consistent with what we do.
Okay.
So I'll be back in a minute.
Thank you.
You did need her on this one. Quite as straightforward.
That's right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's saying R2.
R2.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay, well, I know he lives above it, at least, I guess he does. Curious.
So
So we'll just hold
we'll
off
just
on that one?
table lot
Okay.
4 until Beth gets back. So 33, 330. All right, this is at the corner in Irvington. Here's the gas station. Here's the post office. So this is objects, I guess?
Oh,
Okay.
oh, yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
windswept and objects and,
yeah.
all right, let's see what we've got here. 33, 330. So here, it's more about the land, for their perspective, more at the land change than anything else. Because the land went up from 65 to 100.
And the other ones we changed to 80. The ones over by the office, right?
We did.
Okay.
Those were those residential?
No, we don't know, because it was town zoning.
Okay. Just the way this tax card looks, it just says commercial
Yeah.
up there versus. So is that looking at like how Jack's property was? Land value
What was it,
92.5,
92.5?
Yeah.
110,
110,
100.
100. That's post office. 80. 90. $115. $115.
Is that,
That's
This is the
Moose Lodge
Moose,
thingy.
yeah.
okay. Where's Windswept?
Right to the
I think
right.
that's right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, that's the one that just sold, the little house. Or is it further down?
I can't remember.
Yeah. 331 is the little house that's the attorney now.
So these are all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With these across the street being 80, do you all think we ought to want, well, one,
Make 'em all 80?
2, 3, 4, 5, at least these 5, make them all 80? At least the
Yeah.
home site?
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah.
the commercial value, assuming that they're all commercial. I guess that might be I would think they'd all be commercial. If one of them's residential, then maybe the home site value should be different.
The only way to know that is call the town office and find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I'm fine just making it all, whatever, just making the land 80, right?
Okay.
They're all,
All right, Crystal, so let's start with 33, 329. Yeah, we don't have that in here. Land value 80,000. That's a decrease from 115 to 80,000. 33, 330 is this one we do have. And we're decreasing that from 100,000 to 80,000. These next couple, we don't have 33, 331. Decrease land value from 92.5 to 80,000. Thirty-three, 332. Decrease land value from 110,000 to 80,000. And then one more you don't have is 33-333, decreasing land value from 100,000 to 80,000.
That one, I think, is going to be residential. I would think, that White House, isn't that the White House that Amber
Yeah.
has?
yeah. Yeah, I guess here that's residential.
All right, it takes care of that one.
So, on weekends, the code that's on that, this PO3, is for an office building frame. And it's really not an office building, it's a retail store.
Right.
So, in reality, I guess you could conceivably change the code on that to the CO2, which is the code for retail frame store. And then, the coffee house you could do as retail brick. There's not really anything suitable for a coffee house because it's not exactly a restaurant, but they sell things. So if I were gonna be doing it myself for the lack of something better, and it's not a chain.
How's the local in Irvington? 'Cause they're about the same, they sell coffee and
I don't know, I'd have to look.
sandwiches and stuff.
And does Julian have other offices up above?
It's a conference room you can rent out.
It's a conference room you can rent out, okay. He was thinking about doing offices and that just never,
Mhm.
I'll go look and see, here's these back, and I printed this sheet and highlighted the ones that you could use if you so chose. But I'll see what, the local's gonna be tricky though, because that's in a, like a strip mall, for lack of a better word, and I'd be almost willing to bet you that they treated that whole thing, except, with the exception of dredge, as retail, but I'll look and see.
Can you run them with the different codes
Yeah, I can.
to see, is that worth looking at before we make?
Sure.
I just need to know what codes you want me to put on it.
Can we go with your recommendation?
Yeah.
Or what about like, out of the oven bakery in Whitestone? I'm just trying to think of something that's not joined to anything.
Freestanding.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not,
Now, let me look at those two things first, and then I'll do that.
is there anything else? I'm trying to think.
I'm bad at this.
Dandelion?
Yeah, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah, I
the
guess
code
just
might
kinda-
be different versus retail versus.
What do they call McDonald's,
I don't
restaurant?
know.
I guess so.
I guess I was just saying
Yeah.
there's not a
And the other
specific
place across
coffee
the
shop.
street that just opened up, what is it, Dairy
Oh,
Queen?
what about the
Imagine
donut
that would be the
place
same
in
thing.
Whitestone?
Yeah,
But I
Yeah.
don't
supposed to be
know.
donut shop.
That's part of that process, I don't understand.
All right, let's look at 33,417. Beth gets back.
We almost bought this house back in the day.
I'm sick of seeing ICN Enterprise. Ugh.
Right across from Chesapeake, so is that,
The little, it's been a couple different retail shops.
right, okay.
That's where Dr. Mike lived, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
Is that where Adrian had her office
yes,
before?
Yep.
Okay, that little building.
yep.
So it looks like.
He did the-
33,417.
951,000. For real?
Land jumped up.
But he did the whole
50%.
commercial value
Oh,
of the
wait a minute.
entire.
This must be something, this is gotta be
Oh.
something different.
Yeah, no, this is where
Chick-
dredge,
no,
This is
dredge and all that.
All that
Yeah.
is, okay, there we go.
Okay.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I was like,
Gotta
wait,
change
that's square
that.
footage then, right?
We'd see
All right.
before how they did the first acre commercial and then they did a residual on the rest. He did it all across the board at 2.48 commercial acres.
Gave him a $100,000 value.
Yeah. Or is that different than, is that entire property being used like that?
Yeah, it's- the whole
Yes.
thing is rented.
I mean, he paid $1 million for it in 2018, right? So it doesn't seem like it's over-assessed. Unless part of buying the property was buying any of the businesses in there, in which case, but still.
It's small.
Gosh, it's hard to believe they've been there 24 years.
And I would think that the value of that's certainly gone up since the last assessment. I would think that the businesses in there are, it's a nice looking building with the businesses they've got in there. And I know the coffee shop is doing more business since COVID, but I guess it's really just about the,
All right, so 418, the parcel beside it, land value's 100,000. 419's 90,000. 420's 125. This parcel, on the other side of it, it's $85,000 an acre versus $100,000.
Is that all commercial?
It's all commercial, yeah.
they're doing that at 85,000 an acre.
Yes.
So that's like just a whole different way of,
Let me pull it up.
doing it.
parcels at 33, 416. Yeah, so this is right next door. They just gave it $80,000.
What is it zoned? I mean, that is obviously a
All
major
commercial.
outlier.
All commercial.
Okay, so that should be less than that, right?
So they should all be the same.
Yeah.
I mean, those are kind of bigger pieces, so kind of like 80,000 under an acre or under a half acre. Kind of makes some sense to me, and then maybe 100 if you're over. All those ones were pretty small. Certainly, you don't have the ability to do. So I guess I would just leave Julian's at 100, but definitely make that 100, not 288,900.
You want to raise this one up to 100,000?
Well, right, but, I mean, the total value should be 100,000, right? Because for Julian Patterson's, oh, no, that's 100,000 per acre. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. Now I'm seeing it. All right.
So this is $80,000 an acre, the next 200,000 an acre.
Yep, okay. Yeah, making it, equalizing it with 80,000 per acre makes sense to me. Yep.
All right, so on 417, 418, we're gonna equalize the value at 80,000 an acre. All right, is there any, I think, and that was the only significant change in value on that one they had argued, so 33, 417, we're just gonna change the land value from 100,000 acre to 80,000 acre. Right?
Yep.
Am I missing anything? I think,
I think so. Look at 418 again.
The different values that they're putting in, kind of interesting. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a strip mall, but $100 a square foot versus 130 for the stuff in Kilmarnock. It's kind of, I don't think there's anything to change, but just sort of interesting as we're
You say you
Oh,
changed it to 80?
looking at other.
just the land, yeah.
80?
Look, some of the ones for 33, 330 that were across the road on the corner that we looked at were at like 260 instead of 130 a square foot.
Really?
If I looked at it right. Let me go back. I know we've already made those changes, but sorry I didn't say something then.
That's all right.
We'll forgive you.
So what do you think, Neil? This one, maybe because it's a strip mall, maybe that's why the price per square foot is lower?
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
you don't have individual brick and mortar for, what were the other, they were 130
Yeah.
for the freestanding buildings?
Either that or maybe he does have some sort of factor where at different square footages it changes, but maybe it's big ranges where it's, maybe this is like under 5,000 square foot, it's 130 over,
Might be, yeah.
as opposed to with the houses, it's smaller increments and smaller changes.
Yep.
The one for 418, you think we could wiggle on the depreciation at all? think we should. It's that gray two-story,
That's the house that Dr. Mike used to live in.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
He lived in the 1, 2, so here is coffee, what's the name of that place?
Trick dog, local?
Local, is to the left. if
Right.
You're facing it.
Yeah.
So this one, 418, is that gray one that sits off the road that was like a consulting thing? It was a needle shop or something at one time. If you're facing Trick Dog, it's directly to the right.
That was this one right at 416,
Yeah,
the Village Needle Point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 16, I was thinking it was 18, my
Yeah.
apologies, yeah.
All right, Beth, what you got for us?
So the local is classified as a CO2 retail, and so is out of the oven bakery, so. And Mr. Patterson owns, as you know, he owns the local, the buildings where they are as well. Everything in there except for dredge is classified as retail, whatever, freight, CO2. So, in my mind, that pretty much that's it, what it should be in town. Instead,
Mhm.
the brick building should be brick, and weekend should be retail frame as opposed to an office building, because it really is.
Right.
Okay,
But y'all have to decide that.
okay,
That's
Gotcha.
just my opinion,
Gotcha.
okay.
which my husband will tell you I'm good at picking.
Can you run the weekends and,
I can change the code on weekends to see what the difference will be if you want me to.
That'd be
and then
great.
same thing on, the coffee shop?
That's not gonna be as easy.
Yeah, do you have to go through it manually?
I have to I have to do all of it manually, but
Okay.
the trick to that is I have to change it from residential to commercial. But it shouldn't be that complicated, so.
Well, I mean, we have to do that one anyway, because to make it consistent with the
yeah,
others.
Exactly.
So it really doesn't matter about the numbers for that one, but weekends, you wanna know what the difference is?
That was easy to do.
I don't see where we can make any difference, it's still the
All right, let's look at that.
commercial.
Oh,
I
that's
can do
the-
coffee
that's
houses.
the-
No, don't worry about the call, we're going to have to make the change that anyway, so
Well,
whatever the numbers are, the numbers
I
are.
guess I feel like
Maybe just
potentially there might be
open
something to
weekend
mess around
That's
with
actually the name.
in terms of depreciation
I
and
know,
stuff like
boy.
that, because I feel like
Too
the.
low.
Well,
but the-
depreciation
Me
shouldn't be
too.
much further off from these other buildings we got. I mean,
But the
they've been between
depreciation automatically
10 and
show up
15%.
as something if you change the code?
No, I have to change, I have to manually change all of it.
Every bit of it.
Want to order the depreciation to be changed, so then that has to be a separate line item.
Do you think, I mean, I guess, I don't want to double it without knowing that we're doubling it. I guess if we double it, then that's what the numbers say, and that's what we have to do. I wouldn't think that would happen, but I would just hate to do an order and not at least,
I'll do it. It's
Kinda
not-
know.
It's not any trouble.
Okay.
I'll do it. Just give me a few minutes and I'll bring it.
Dave.
What time are y'all breaking for lunch? Or are you breaking for lunch? All right, well, if I don't get it to you before, I'll bring it to you after.
thank you, Beth.
Or am I looking at this incorrect?
I hope that's okay. I would just hate for it to be like a crazy
No,
number.
no, I agree.
And I don't think it will be. Hopefully those numbers are all similar enough, it doesn't really
And
matter,
then
but
drive, yeah,
I would hate for it to be a crazy number and not realize that we did that by changing the designation.
right.
Because I think that those are pretty darn close to market value or even kind of at the top end.
I mean, it just makes sense that that was never caught all this time, you know?
And I think you already gave her an order on it, so.
That's all right, we can pull the order back.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say something earlier. It's just quite a difference in 1/3, if they're all supposed to be the same.
So the 330 is done at 260 up.
Well, it wasn't 260, I'm sorry, it was 226, but.
A
there
square
was-
foot.
Like, most of those have been 130 down the line.
And some of it's done as 180.
Yeah, and then.
I don't know what that
there's
427
226.
square feet is. And it's a big building.
I'm assuming they assigned $180 to this part.
What's that windswept?
That's the whole strip mall where objects is and,
And, okay,
The depreciation, so they can, this was like an addition that they, why would this be any different?
What the heck that would be?
Yeah.
To me, that looks like that would be a concrete slab.
That would be a heck of a, what's the, I was gonna see if Google Street
Face of the
View.
building- I haven't been in there, so I don't know.
You found it?
Oh, not what I'm looking for.
Pretty.
I was wondering how you could find it otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, here's the old cover. Where he had them at 125.
And 125.
Yeah, so that, because most of the ones we looked at went from 125 to 130, depreciation from 25 to 30.
So do we need to go back and mark, take that price per square foot down to be in line with everything else now?
Yeah, because the rest of them were at 130.
130, yeah.
I guess that's part of that building.
Yeah, I'm
because
looking at the,
There was nothing ever added on to it.
the
Oh.
aerial of it, it looks like there's some kind of little, but from the old one, it wasn't a different price per square foot. So it certainly shouldn't be more per
No.
square foot.
For that little thing.
I don't know if you need to look and see if other things are,
You were at 125 and 125.
Yeah.
Went to 180 and 226.
That doesn't make any
That's
sense.
crazy.
Maybe just move those to 130.
I guess it's this little
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, which,
Sorry, I didn't say that, sorry.
No, that's all right, buddy.
Is it
that little
thing
section,
off to the
yeah,
side?
yeah.
Why, yeah, it shouldn't be more per square foot.
Uh-uh.
It wasn't more per square foot.
What are
than
you
the old one.
talking about?
It's just
See what
weird the
they
things
did,
that
what we've been
change
looking
and
at
it
is
seems like it
square foot
meant
for
that
the
he's looking at
commercials.
things
For
specifically.
125 and
Things
125.
that
Well,
don't
a
get
lot of
caught.
the other
Yeah.
ones
You would
we
think if you were
saw,
looking at something specifically.
see,
mentioning
a
it.
lot of them went to 130, 130. Well,
Wow.
look, this one here went to 180 and 226.
All right, so y'all want to go back and amend that one
Yeah.
to, we took the land down from 100 to 80,
No,
but
it's just
now
this one, 330.
do the square footage on both of them at 130 to match everybody else?
Yeah, because it was what before? It was
125.
25.
Unless we need to check some other stuff in Irvington, to make sure, and I don't know why the big strip mall is only 100 a square foot. What is, all over the board, the, right, 418 is 140 a square foot. No. Sorry, 418 is done like a house again.
Yes.
Yeah, 418 is done like a house, sort of. Yeah, factor 127.
So on 33, 330, are we all in agreement then with that price per square foot of 130?
Make it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we just got to change that one piece. We've already changed the land on it. All right, going back to 417. Crystal, we got a change on one order for 33, 330. Previously, we had changed just the land from 100 to 80. Now, we're also going to change the price per square foot to 130. It was 180 on the first part, changed to 130. On the second part, it was 226, we changed that to 130. Yep,
And I'm sorry, did you say you're on 17?
good catch, RJ. Yeah,
Yeah.
417.
17? All right.
And that's the trick dog and the bistro, that's strip mall.
only thing I could think the square footage difference would be because they're all connected.
Yeah.
And in their appeal, they don't have the building changes highlighted. Their concern was more the land change,
Okay,
which we're changing that now.
yeah.
All right, so 33,417, everybody good with just the change being the land down to 80?
Yes,
thousand an
sir.
acre?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Crystal, 33,417, changing the land value from 100,000 an acre to 80,000 an acre.
That's crazy, you know, 10 years thereabouts, your land value triples.
Yeah.
Golly day.
All right, 418 is the same thing. They didn't highlight the building change per se as much was the land change, so we're gonna take that to 80,000 an acre. And let's see, factor went down, physical went up.
This isn't, I mean, I guess if it's zoned residential, then maybe it should be done this way, but I don't like the blend of having it commercial land value and
I know,
then valuing the building
I know.
like a residence.
And it may be one of those, you know.
But this one could be a weird one where.
Yeah, conditional use permit or
Yeah.
something like that.
I think at this point, no one's gonna turn it back into a house, but I suppose that they could in a way that some of these other buildings would be a lot harder to do. So yeah, so is that all that we need to do, if they weren't worried about the,
Just the land change,
Improvement
everybody good with
value
that?
From 100 to 80? Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yep. All right, 33,418, land value from 100,000 an acre to 80,000 an acre. 419, right next door. And actually this one's 90,000. So go back and make that 80,000
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
to be consistent. And that's it for that one. Just land, 33,419, just change the land value from 90 to 80,000. Thirty-three, 420,
oh, that's screwy.
what do we got here?
This kind of reminds me of the car shop,
20.
and then makes you rethink 416, because they've got 1 acre of commercial, and then they've got a really low value on residual.
No complaints from the taxpayer on this one.
Yeah, it
There's
didn't
no
change at all,
change.
so.
No change.
I don't,
33, 420, no change. I think that's gonna be the same thing with this one, 421. $70 to $80 a square foot, 60 to 75. $33,421.
So do you just do the 80,000 on the home side again? or the land value
Commercial.
rather, excuse me. Is this part of that same thing or no?
Yeah. Y'all, any heartburn with that, making the value the same, land?
Nope,
Yeah.
fine with me.
Okay. Only change on that one? Everybody good? 33,421. Land value from 100,000 to 80,000. All right, 33,422A. That was.
That's correct.
Yes. Yep, 421.
Two A. It's already 80.
I mean, essentially, this one's the same as the rest of them.
Same as, yeah, with no change in this one.
What I suggested is retail brick. It lowers it pretty significantly. And you can, when you mention the factor, you know, this, all of them have a grade, for lack of a better word. And you can still put, like, in this case, it would be, this was classified as a B. You could still put a +5 or +10 to increase the value if you think this is too low. I just throw that out there because it's pretty significant, and that's a pretty nice building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a,
Patterson's gotten his hands on.
is there an A designation for the
Yes.
building?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, I
there
would think that would be, I mean,
is. And you could change that, you could change the class too, so. And then the other one, it lowered it, but not, I think it's within reason, but that's for y'all to decide.
Okay.
so,
The first one, the 168, for that improvement value, that's the coffee house.
okay.
And that's the one, we could change the classification up to an A. Gotcha.
Yeah. And that'll increase it some, but I don't know how much, and if you want me to tell you how much, I can go back and do that.
Can you do that
Yeah.
for that one? Thank you. So this is the, so this one that didn't go down much, this would be weekends if we
Right,
change it.
yeah.
Oh,
Go
what
down
was
to-
it, from a brick to a frame or, no,
No,
retail?
it was from an office building to retail.
Retail,
And
okay.
that lowered it.
Okay,
So from 525, 600 to 419, 400.
And there again, you can change the
Yeah.
grade on that too, because I think they're both done as a B. So if you wanted to change the.
and this
change it
house,
to an
this is
A.
pretty nice.
It is, yeah.
So you want me to change them both to
Yeah.
an A and see
Change
what
it.
that does?
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
All right.
Thank you.
Well,
All right, 33,
So you said no
420.
change on 22A, right?
where is that one? I'm trying to see.
I'm just gonna write on here, and then this is weekends.
You didn't say it, right? 22A or 22A?
An acre. Oh, that's where that White House used, is it? Where that White House used to be?
There's the one right behind it.
Isn't this where the town office is right now?
Yeah, but remember that White House that he tore down?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it
I think that was Eva Abel's old house.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, Eva Abel, yep.
Oh, the house across from the liquor store.
So we were saying for 422A, no change because that's already got the the $8,000.
Where is 422A?
though? That's what I was looking for, but I don't,
There's 422 and 422A, but I'm not seeing 422. Is that just one of those weird things where
Oh. did they
422A must be a,
combine it?
The record couldn't be found for that one.
it must be some sort of sliver. No, more than a sliver,
It's an acre.
yeah. Do you manage the GIS, Glenn?
Yes.
Do you have any insight on, there's a 422 and a 422A, why maybe 22A isn't showing up?
Probably in half a year I haven't discovered yet.
Vacant land,
Was it on Main Street?
Still right there in Irvington.
Oh,
This must be a strip, well,
Yeah, that's where that White House was.
there's nothing to change there, right? Because it's already at 80,000.
right, yep, so no
That's
change, no change there.
And that's a home site, so we're back to residential zoning, yeah.
And then 422. 422,
I thought, oh, no, they didn't.
422, they were concerned more of the improvement increase. Crystal, on 33, 422A, no change.
I think this is town office, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So with this, do we make this the same, land value,
That
80?
home site at 80?
Yeah. And factor went down,
Yeah, it looks like it just did,
just more depreciation.
this
a little bit
price
more.
per square foot doubled.
It did, yeah.
I guess I would imagine the kitchen and everything, because, right, this is, right, who did Eva buy it from? Did she buy it from Cabell?
I think
Is that-
Cabell
Cabell
bought it
Westbrook,
from
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Or-
No, Cabell Westbrook bought it, Eva bought it from Cabell.
Okay,
So it had a nice kitchen and stuff.
it did, it was cute.
Definitely, like, Eva and Adam were, for the old farmhouse was grating on them.
Yeah.
And the expensive bills and, I guess if it's still zoned residential, even though it's being used as a town office, it should continue to be valued this way versus setting it up as a,
With the 60-year-old house, I think depreciation should be more than 30.
that house is way old, supposedly that house is way older.
Maybe it only went 5% in the past 5 years, so.
Yeah,
Should we bump
Yeah.
that to maybe 40?
sure, yeah.
Okay.
And how about factor of 112?
Yeah, he's got it looking nice right now. But also I could see just making the factor 100 with it being
Yeah, I've never really
an
been
office
there.
building.
It's been eons since I've been in there.
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like in there now, but it's an interesting place.
I think we make those 3
Yeah,
changes.
40 and 80.
okay.
So Crystal, on 33, 422,
Okay.
home site of 80,000 from 110. Factor from 112 to 100.
Okay.
And physical depreciation from 30 to, what did we say, 40?
Yes.
40. All right. 2878A.
Okay, so this is that,
Well, this is the
Yep.
corner
Still-
where
Yep.
Cockrell Market used to be. Right across from Compass, where it's more or less a warehouse, right, for his equipment shed, if you will.
It doesn't change it that much, but there's the numbers.
But we can still add,
The class up to A.
You could add plus or plus, what do you normally define as? So you could add plus whatever, like you do when you do a house. Change the factor.
okay.
did it change it at all?
I don't think it changed. If it did, it was minute.
Yeah. Real minute. That's a good word. Almost zero. The bottom line number didn't change.
I don't think I've seen commercial properties with the factor being adjusted, but I don't enter a lot of commercial stuff because everything that we have is already in existence, so I don't have to, I mean, and then when we do commercial, I get the firm that does the reassessment to do it. because
But the
everything's
class,
big.
we could change to A and feel
Change to
comfortable
A.
with what we know the quality is and,
Right,
yeah.
and you can adjust it plus whatever, because if you can in the computer, there's no reason that you can't do it.
Right.
It just depends on how comfortable you are with the value that it spits out and changing it
It didn't
from
change
an
at all.
office to retail
That's
and
crazy.
residential to commercial.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, Beth.
you're welcome.
On this one for 78A, the taxpayer was concerned with both the land and the improvement jumps. So,
We go back to 80 on the land.
yeah,
Should we look, at? I mean, I could see some of that stuff being lower, 80 for, one thing, we're not in the heart of Irvington anymore, right?
Right, yeah, that is true.
Other places, when we were looking at the car shop, that was 40. And then out on,
yeah, here's one right here, 22.9 across the street. 26.1 across the street,
What is,
40.
I don't know if there's anything else that's commercial right in there, but
School board, isn't that commercial?
I would think so. And what did the,
what about, Tracy Lewis's tire shop? He's definitely close to Kilmarnock, but. It's on the same road.
Then there's Ransom, then there's the,
Right,
for whatever reason, the
and
old
then
one that
boat
was
place.
63,800.
The Savoy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Glenn?
yeah. Got a lot of the stuff up in there.
There's the school board.
oh yeah, so you keep on going.
There's Ransom,
Ransom.
so,
I think you're right on that one. Ruby,
isn't that it?
let's see.
Wait, no.
What
I think
is
it's
that?
21, is it 22, did you already click on that?
Where is he?
The tire shop. They didn't change their name. It's still resident. Seems like to me, somebody getting over.
Or you gotta go further
What?
up
Up?
towards Kilmarnock.
Oh, that's true, yep. Yep, okay, so you've gone too far.
Doing too much, not enough.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
where's the ballpark? It's right across the
Darn.
street.
Ballpark's right here.
Well, then, yeah, you should be like 18.
19 or 18?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I told you they
It
didn't
looks like
change
it
the
would be a
name.
big piece of land.
They didn't change it.
Or maybe Tracy doesn't own the land.
'Cause-
Maybe not.
Yeah, because you're down there now by the houses.
What was 20C? Nothing.
Oh? That's, let's see. That's strange.
I don't know.
I don't know, you may have to take a ride.
That's crazy.
What else?
Do we just go back to the old
You see
value?
anything, what,
What was the old value?
63,800 for some strange reason. Maybe that's not a good enough justification. I don't know where they got 63,800 from last time.
I don't even know whether Savoy owns that.
Maybe for the
But wouldn't it be
Primo corner
very-
location.
Wouldn't it be really similar to Brant Udy's place, though? With having the two road frontages? It's more than, it's acreage, right? Like residual there? Or is it?
Yeah, there's some residual, but I can see
Some,
where
not
that,
much,
like the
but-
whole thing is commercial in a way that.
But what did we do for Brant? Was it 40,000?
For just the front.
For the
parcel,
commercial
and
acre?
then the residual for the back.
Do you think 40's too low to go across the board here?
What are you doing now?
That's a great question.
It's time to take a break.
For the land value.
Oh, we're still trying to find the tire place, right?
I gave up on
I
that
think
one.
we gave up. We gave up.
Oh, okay.
Or 60. I mean, that's a little bit less arbitrary than 63,800.
I mean, the ones right in Irvington, we did
Well,
80.
why don't we go to 65 on the land? Yeah, I don't think the land is devalued since 2019.
Okay.
So let's say the land's gone up $1,200. That's reasonable,
Fair. Yes.
you know?
Okay.
So 65,000 for the land. And then on the improvements,
It went from 25 a square foot to 55 a square foot. Depreciation went from 5 to 27.
I'd hit more depreciation.
I would too, because it's just a shell.
Yeah.
I think they may have painted it, but other than that, they cleaned out Billy Williams and stuff in there. I think they just house their lawnmowers and work on stuff in there.
Do 40, 45?
Yeah, I think 45 is appropriate.
Okay.
Everybody good with that? Mm-hmm. All right, Crystal, 2878A. The land value from 100,000 down to 65,000. And depreciation from 27 up to 45.
So you want to do weekends?
Jump back to weekends on the
After lunch? Okay.
Yeah.
food
lunch-
tier.
is
I'm
lunch
ready to
ready?
eat.
I'm not sure, we can go.
Which one was weekends?
I looked it up, it looks like that, 33, 422, split off, 422,
Okay.
some point we just take it
Oh.
out. So what you see on there is 422, is basically that, 423, and 423.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Didn't really make any difference to our.
Miss Davis said, all right, let's go eat, right?
Hey,
So we got weekends to do.
In the coffee shop.